and Fulton coming to you on a Wednesday. And this might be the Wednesday of all hump day Wednesdays for the Kansas City Royals. Even Fulton's betting capabilities couldn't even stop the momentum that is Jordan Lyles and the Royals losing. That is right. 0-14 when the Jordan Lyles takes the mound for the boys in blue. And the winning streak hits.
The losing streak hits 8.
8. It's more fun if you think of it as a winning streak.
No. We're not revisionist history around here. We're not fake news. They've lost 8 in a row. They've lost, Jordan Lyles himself has lost 11 decisions. They've lost 14 games which Jordan Lyles has started. Fun fact, they've started 14 games with Jordan Lyles. Never once won when that man takes the bump. He puts his toe on that rubber, it's an L.
And I thought because the juju and
the irresistible force met the immovable object of Jordan Lyles being the worst pitcher in existence met my propensity for the worst gambling luck ever when I said I'd buy you lunch if they won today. They won last night. And they didn't. So I didn't buy you lunch today.
It's not just Jordan Lyles. It is Jordan Lyles, but it's not all Jordan Lyles on why they are 0-14 when Jordan Lyles pitches. Remember, some of it is because the Royals, when Jordan Lyles has pitched, have scored double figures twice.
Yeah, and Jordan Lyles has led the most home runs, the most earned runs in Major League Baseball.
But there are also days where Jordan Lyles pitched very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
His first start of the year, he gave up 1 earned run.
And the Royals couldn't get it done.
Yep, lost 2-0 that game. I was there. It sucked.
No,
it isn't all his fault.
It's not.
It's mostly his fault.
It's mostly his fault.
Giving up 5 runs in the second inning, his fault.
It's kind of like he's mostly dead.
Yeah. Great reference.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Favorite movie of all time for me.
Mostly dead.
It's
not all
mostly dead.
Not all.
Not
dead.
all dead.
Yeah. We got plenty to get to. We're going to talk a little Royals. We will get to some high school drama. That's what's basically going on right now in Buffalo, which makes me happy.
Of course it does.
We will get to a lot of money. Lots of money. A whole lot of spending money when it comes to college athletics. We will get to that. We will hear from Kellis, Robinette. It is mandatory minicamp, so we will hear from a couple more Chiefs today coming up at 1:30 and the 2 o'clock hour. So let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Very simple, very easy. Check us out on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@sportson580. Hit the subscribe button. Hit us up with the comments as well. Maybe we should give away Royals tickets every time until the Royals win a game. Because inversely, we try to, give away tickets when the Royals are on back-to-back games to try to get that third game, to get that 3-game winning streak.
Buddy, nothing we do is going to make this better.
It is a powerful force right now. It really is. It really is. But
it's so sad.
You know my thoughts on this. We don't need to go.
I know how you feel about it.
Yeah. And this is Fulton. You have a problem, okay?
Oh, I know I have a problem. I'll admit it.
Get some help. If you
I need the Michael Jordan gif on repeat.
Get some help. Stop
it. Get some help.
If you let this Royals team determine your mood, that's on you.
Oh, I know. I will at least personally for myself. Oh, I know this is all on me.
Okay.
I know I could stop, and I should stop. I won't stop.
Myself and Brendan and Dan, we all made that point at about like 9 o'clock today. I'm like, hey, you don't have to watch the game. In fact, that is going to be our list today.
Things I could do instead of watching the Royals?
Yes.
Best list ever.
That's going to be our list today. Things you should do, things that Fulton should do, but not watch the Royals. Like in place of watching the Royals. Okay, all right. That's what we're gonna.
And what's even worse, what's worse about tonight when they lose their 9th straight game this evening, is I don't have like a Stanley Cup championship win to take the edge off. That was great. Vegas, you're Stanley Cup champions. This is really fun for me.
However, I do want to bring this up. Our good friend Jesse Newell, friend of the show, numbers aficionado. Jesse went to the advanced numbers, if you will. And some of this stuff isn't really that advanced. It's still batting average and it's still on base and still slugging in some aspects of this. But our good friend Jesse Newell tweeted out, the Royals have been bad. How bad are they? They've been pretty bad. But what's interesting is we might be witnessing history. Not just Jordan Lyles being 0-14 in the first 14
Not
starts.
just they're going to match the 62 Mets for the most losses by a team ever.
Okay, you can't say that now.
I am now. They're going to match the Mets.
Man, you turned so quickly. You were 8% that they were going to lose 100 games just 2 weeks
Buddy,
ago.
an 8-game losing streak looking like this does a lot to a man. It snaps your spirit.
The Royal Caster is
my will has been broken.
It's not working. It's
my will's gone. My spirit for this team is crushed.
You know when you go to an amusement park and your favorite ride is not working properly because something's happened?
Yeah.
It's
gone off the rails.
That's the Royal Caster.
Yeah. It's gone off the rails.
No, it's not even on. It's stopped. Like, you're not allowed on it. But we might be watching the most unclutch team of all time.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's bad.
So, what I'm about ready to tell you is wild. Okay? Fangraphs keeps track of what is called high leverage situations. So, basically think how games are decided, okay? In the key moments, aka clutch, right? Mm-hmm. Free throws at the end of the game, pitching, hitting, just clutch moments. Now,
bases loaded, 1 out.
Yes. This is when the Royals are at bat, okay? Mm-hmm. So, like last night, right? It is 5-4, basically from the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. There's not a run scored past the 3rd, which is kind of wild. So in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, right? Comes down to just one swing of the bat, right? Mm-hmm. One swing of the bat. In clutch situations, the Kansas City Royals, everyone who walks to the plate, not just Nick Prado, not just Bobby Witt, not just Salvador Perez, any Royal is essentially Jackie Bradley Jr. The Royals in 253 plate appearances, which is it's not a large sample size. It really isn't, but yet it's still somewhat of a substantial sample size because it's basically right now, it's a 60-game sample size. Okay. Salvador Perez has 256 plate appearances this year. In this stat, the Royals have 253 plate appearances. So it's basically 60 games. All right. So that's kind of who you are. The Royals are batting 141. They are hitting 141. That is Jackie Bradley Jr. Mm-hmm. So last night, in clutch situations, the Royals sent up Jackie Bradley Jr. 3 times in the 7th, 3 times in the 8th, and 3 times in the 9th. Jackie Bradley Jr. had 9 cracks at it in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Is basically what it is.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes Jackie Bradley Jr. gets a good hit, like Salvador Perez gets a hit in the clutch to tie the game to force extras. But then Jackie Bradley Jr. goes back to Jackie Bradley Jr. and nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So keep that in mind. When the Royals are at bat and every single Royal turns into Jackie Bradley Jr., who, fun fact, is not on the team anymore.
Thankfully.
All right. What about the inverse? What about when the Royals are pitching? All right. The Royals are on the bump and they're getting ready to pitch. And who are they going to throw it to? The opposing team, when they are at the plate, or when the Royals pitchers are pitching. So it can be Singer, it can be Greinke, it can be Lyles, it can be Quas, it can be Clark, it can, Hernandez, it can be Myers, right? All these guys. In clutch situations, the Royals pitching staff turns the opposing hitter into Ronald Acuna. Ronald Acuna. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronald Acuna right now is the best player in baseball. Ronald Acuna at the plate this year is hitting .328, a .399 on base, and a .560 slug. He is almost at a 1.0 OPS.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ronald Acuna is the best player in baseball right now.
He's playing really well.
So in clutch situations, which honestly is impressive that the Royals were able to throw up zeros in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings last
Shout
night.
out Jackson Coar on Austin Cox.
They were able to get over a course of 60 games in clutch game deciding situations. The man at the plate who hits against the Royals is essentially Ronald Acuna Jr. The Royals are so bad that they turn guys like Seth Fairchild. I didn't watch the Royals game last night because I don't care. Tyler Stevenson. They turn guys like that into Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah.
The Royals pitchers are so bad.
No.
How bad are they, Jake? They turn the hitter into Ronald Acuna Jr. I can't get over that. He is literally the best player, at least at the plate, with power, with everything. Now, thank goodness it's not Luis Ariz, because then it would be at a 400 clip. But Ariz doesn't have any power. Acuna does. That is Fulton. I am floored by that. There's not many things that floor me when it comes to
Here's the
this.
thing, and Jesse doing all this work was great, and it's nice to put context to things you're seeing. One of these things I think reverses itself, and one of these I think doesn't.
Okay, what's that?
The offense, I think, will figure it out.
Okay.
I say think because right now there's, I can't say for sure.
They did, but they were hitting it for a decent clip.
Yes. For an entire month, yes, April bad, May good, June so far has been bad, but we're seeing signs of life, and there's a bunch of other things where I just think there's enough innate talent. We just got to remember, everyone not named Salvador Perez is basically in at most their second year of baseball.
Correct.
Majority of the guys are in their first year of baseball. You're going to get this. Where just every single guy's growing pains at once. So the offense, I truly think, will get a little better. The pitching, I don't see much more. And because the pitching's problem is not experience. That's not pitching's problem. The pitching staff's problem is there's not good players.
Okay.
Like, the pitching staff's problem is not, Brady Singer just needs more years. No, the problem is Brady Singer's just bad. The problem is Jordan Lyles is the worst pitcher in baseball. Mm-hmm. The problem is Zach Greinke's nearly 40. The problem is whatever opener thing you're doing every fifth day, maybe we're all starting to realize why Mike Myers is 30-plus years old and never stuck around with anybody. Like, all these little things, that's why, and I think the pitching will get marginally better because I think younger guys are going to start playing more, and those younger guys are better than the older guys. Like Jackson, I have to just do this for a quick moment. Jackson Carr had one bad outing where he gave up a home run in Baltimore that went all the way to Washington, D.C. And everyone's like, real Jackson Carr is back, isn't he? And then he went last night and pitched well. Like, maybe all of you should learn to actually watch what's going on and quit with your jokes and realize one bad outing does not mean a guy isn't fixed. Just like one good outing does not make a guy elite. I'm looking at you, Mike Myers. I wanted to get the opportunities I did. I'm already starting to think, though, the shine's off that pumpkin a little bit. I'm starting to think we're realizing he's probably not a long-term solution.
He had 2 good outings.
He did. Actually, really 3. Well, because he had the first one saying, and then he had, the perfect outing.
I'm with you.
Literally the perfect outing. But like, that's why I think the pitching will take a small step forward, because I think the younger pitchers are just, even if their talent's not amazing, it's better than the dog crap talent some of these other guys are. But overall, and I know people don't like to hear things about, they've been unlucky or blah, blah, blah. Trust me, I don't like hearing it either. You win the game. I don't care what other things say. You just got to win the game. It is painful to look at 2 different metrics about how much the Royals' losses are being impacted by bad luck or just unclutchness or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I think unclutchness and luck are 2 different things.
I agree with you.
Unclutchness means you just suck at the moment.
Yeah.
Like one of the greatest movie lines in sports of all time to me is in the movie Tin Cup. Okay. Kevin Costner, Cheech Marin, fantastic show. Great golf movie. But he says there, when a defining moment comes along, either you define the moment
or the moment defines you.
Or the moment defines you. And right now,
the moment's defining the Royals.
Is swallowing them up like a blue whale eating photoplankton.
And these are the 2 things that frustrate me about the Royals and realize and why I keep pounding that, yes, they're bad. Yes, they're currently the worst team in baseball. But why I don't know if that fully will hold, and why once I drag myself into this pit of despair, I might actually get some positive with this team back. Their Pythagorean win-loss.
You just said earlier we were talking that they're going to tie the Mets.
Yeah, listen, I'm in a bad spot. The Pythagorean win-loss, which is a silly, fancy little thing to say based on run differential alone, based on how much you've scored, how much you've allowed, what should you be doing? The Royals should have 5 more wins. They don't because of other factors, and it happens. By that same metric, the A's should have 2 less wins, just to put some balance on the 2 worst teams in baseball. Jesse also brought up a fun stat that Fangraphs has called base runs. It essentially is a more normalized version of Pythagorean win-loss and goes, based on just what you've done to put runners on the base, what should you be doing devoid of hard hit outs or weird thing, like devoid of all the things that can interject some randomness? The Royals should have 9 more wins.
That's a lot of wins.
They should have 27 wins right now. Yeah.
They don't. That's actually the most of any
team. And they don't. And I'm not trying to use this to I'm not trying to say this in a way to be like, you shouldn't be sad or upset or not like this team. No, you should not like this team. You should be mad at what they're doing right now because it's not producing. But those are the little things that are like, it's happening. To me, the unclutchness of the hitters has nothing to do with who they are in like their full actualized selves. It's that they aren't there yet. It's that Bobby Jr. is in his 2nd year. It's that Nick Prado is not even played a full season of baseball. That Vinny Pasquantino's hurt. That Drew Waters Drew Waters has not even played like a month and a half's worth of baseball at the big league level. All those different things. That's why they're failing right now. Is they're learning on the job.
The Royals do play tonight, but we have determined if the Royals lose tonight,
we ain't talking about it tomorrow.
We are not going to mention.
They're not being mentioned.
We're pulling an Oakland Athletics fan base where they did the reverse boycott. Had 25,000 people show up to prove that, hey, people will care.
Shout out Oakland. Love you guys.
If the Royals lose and they lose 9 in a row,
When he's talking,
we will not mention the Royals.
we'll find every other fun thing to talk about when you're talking about that team.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Coming up next, everybody loves some high school drama. Stephon Diggs is back in practice, and he was stretching next to Josh Allen. Man, tell me that isn't a high school relationship right there. That's some high school drama. You got the coach. I'm very concerned about this. Then you got Josh Allen says, I love him to death, and I need to do some things better. We have not heard from Stephon Diggs. Probably won't. But is that not some like high school relationship type of action and drama going on right now in Buffalo? And I am here for it.
It's very funny.
And then they post a photo, or they stand right next to each other. Oh, there's nothing wrong. Everything's okay. And it might
Nothing
be.
to see here, boys. Smile and wave.
It might be, but you look like you need. Here's some attention, Stephon. Do you want some attention? How many helpings of attention do you want? Hey, come on, man.
It's very funny. It's hilarious, really.
Some high school stuff. Oh my God, did you see who Josh Allen was talking to after homeroom? Oh my gosh, in the hallways during the in between the what now
passing period?
Yeah, wow. Been a minute. Been 20 years. The passing period.
Been 9 years for me.
Josh was talking, to Gabe. Oh, he was talking to Gabe. Man, I'm so mad at him. Just hilarious. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Kellis Robinette on some K-State athletics. The 1 o'clock hour, we will talk some numbers when it comes to revenue and how much money that colleges are spending. Latest news when it comes to the dates of conference realignment, if you will. Our list today is a very simple one. What should Fulton do tonight besides watch the Royals? We are trying as a sports staff, myself, Dan, and Brendan are trying to get Fulton to not watch the Royals because it is not good for him.
It's very unhealthy. Even I'll admit that.
We're not trying to enable you. It's not like, if your buddy makes some bad decisions gambling, we're not trying to, go to the sports book. We're trying to do the opposite. Yeah. We're trying to help you. So that is our list today. What should Fulton do tonight from 7 to 9:30 when the Royals are playing? So let us know on our text line, 785-272-9429. And that's the first question I'm going to ask our next guest on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line. He is Kellis Robinette, does a fantastic job covering the K-State Wildcats for the Wichita Eagle and the Kansas City Star. You can follow him on Twitter at Kellis Robinette. Kellis, what would you suggest Fulton does tonight from 7 to 9:30 instead of watch the Royals?
Well, I was just informed that today is National Bourbon Day. Might lean into that, go buy a bottle or two. Sit a little bit on the back deck, not watch any baseball. It sounds okay to me. I'll join him if you want.
That might be the best idea I've ever heard, Kellis.
Kellis has not only great coverage of K-State, but just great ideas.
Yeah, fantastic idea.
I'm here to help.
There you go, Fulton. After we get done with this interview, shoot Kellis a text and be like, all right, I got some bourbon I can give you. I can't join you. My wife's working tonight. Let me see if I can find a babysitter. And then Fulton, or you can come out on my back deck. That's maybe what you could do.
Jake, we'll just party at your house with the kids go to bed. We'll sit on the back deck and we'll just drink some bourbon.
There
apparently.
you go. How about that? Kellis is a genius. That's all I know. There we go. Kellis coming in strong with some great insight. Kellis, that made my day. All right, Kellis, what made K-State's basketball day, 2 days ago? Arthur Kaluma coming to Kansas State. How big of a surprise is this?
It's a surprise in that they got the commitment right this second. He supposedly had visits lined up this week with Alabama and Kentucky. And usually when a player has visits with schools that are that prominent lined up, they first of all, and then close the deal before those other schools could look at them or any other blue bloods come in and try to get them late. It's very competitive to get good players right now this late during the transfer process. A lot of the good ones are already spoken for, so to win a recruiting battle for him this late in the game and to add a good player, somebody who should probably come in and start next season to the roster in June, always a very nice addition. And Kansas State's arrow is pointing a little bit higher up right now than it was last week.
What kind of player are they getting in Kaluma, from what you have gathered?
Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty good player. He's got very good size, very good athleticism. He should come in and try to more or less replace what Keontae Johnson did last season. I would expect him to come in and play on the wing. So you're looking at a starting lineup that would have Tyler Perry at guard along with Cam Carter, then Kaluma on the wing, Naquan Tomlin probably at the 4, and I'm guessing David Gasson at the 5. You could, mix people, move them around a little bit to go smaller or bigger if you want. But that right there is a pretty competitive starting 5, if you ask me. And Kaluma, what he adds to it is he can shoot, he can get to the rim, he can rebound. He's averaged over 10 points a game throughout his time at Creighton, and that's not easily done considering all the talent they had on their roster. So to add a guy who's played in 6 NCAA tournament games and has averaged more than 10 points throughout the entirety of his college career, very nice pickup for Kansas State. The question with him will be, so he's been stuck behind some very, very good players at Creighton. Now that he moves over to Kansas State and the window is open for him to be a little bit more of a scorer, can he embrace the opportunity and score like 15 points, 17 points a game next season? Can he be, can he compete for the alpha dog status on this team? I don't know. If he can, then Kansas State's looking really good next season. But even if he comes in and only averages about 10 points, it's still a very nice addition in my mind.
Let's say that the duo of Marquise Noel and Keontae Johnson was, we'll rank them a 9 out of 10, right? They were really, really good. Okay. They brought in 2 guys to replace them in Kaluma and Tyler Perry. What would you give those 2 as a duo? Are they a 9? Are they an 8, a 7, a 6, 5, 4, 3, 2? Are they a 10? How would you kind of compare that duo that left and everybody else is back essentially, and then you bring in these 2 guys to fill those 2 roles? How close are they, do you think?
I think they're a little lower. I wouldn't say they're even. I definitely wouldn't say they're better, at least not until I see how they team up and, play on the court together. The cool thing about Marquise and Keontae was by the end of the season, they just kind of seemed to know where the other person was in the court at all times. And that's why we saw Kansas State win a bunch of games with lob dunks from Marquise to Keontae, just kind of an unstoppable play. Now, can Tyler and Arthur combine to make that same kind of, relationship on the court? I don't know, but without seeing that first, I'd put them at, maybe a 7.5, maybe pushing an 8. It's just kind of hard to compare. They're just such different players. Like Tyler Perry, if you give him space on the 3-point line, if you give him a ball screen and let him go to work, he's going to score on you, but he's not going to go into the lane and just rip you apart like Marquise did last year with all these passes to other guys who were open. That's just not his game. And Kaluma's maybe a little bit more of a splasher than Keontae, where we saw last season Keontae could park it in the corner and knock down threes. Just a little bit different players. The potential is certainly there, but for now, I'd say maybe a step down. I'm comfortable with 7.5 at the moment.
We're talking with Kellis Robinette of the Wichita Eagle and the Kansas City Star here on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line. Once is a happenstance, right? Last year, K-State had 2 scholarship players, and they rebuilt the roster through the transfer portal and went to the NCAA tournament. This year, they lost a couple people, had some people graduate, and they rebuilt it through the transfer portal. Now it is 2 years. Once is a happenstance, 2 is a trend. Is this what we can kind of expect from Jerome Tang? That, hey, he's gonna find, as he likes to call them, dudes, year after year. How many more years do you need to get that and have this occur for it to be pretty much this is going to be the new norm?
I mean, I think Kansas State fans should get used to having quote dudes unquote on the roster. I don't think that's going to change at any point. The real question to me is at what point does he get far enough along into this that he relies less on the transfer portal and more on high school recruiting? He's kind of stated that that's his goal at Kansas State. He wants to model it after what Baylor had. They brought in really talented players, and once they developed them up through a few years, they didn't want to leave. They didn't have outgoing transfers. They only would bring in the occasional new guy to fill some holes. So far, Kansas State, he's had to fill a lot of holes with a lot of transfers. He's still looking for 2 more this offseason. So you're going from, double-digit transfers last year to 4 or 5 this season. My question is, in, so I say, 2 years, when these guys that he's bringing in right now, like David Castillo, maybe this 4-star recruit they've got on campus today, Cam Carter, some other young guys they got on campus already, once they get a little bit older, can they have it both ways? Can they have the traditional 3- and 4-year guys mixed in with transfers, or are we going to keep seeing the transfers cycle in and out, and that be the bread and butter? It's hard to say because, everywhere in college basketball right now, transfers are so prevalent. Kansas and Bill Self are doing basically what Jerome Tang did last year, stripping the team down to all but the essential parts and building it back up with new guys. It just happens. Hey, if you're not happy with the team, you can go rebuild in 1 year. It's what we see now. So that's my question. I think we will see less of a reliance on transfers in future years, and I think it'll probably happen within 2.
All righty. Done with some basketball talk. Let's move to some football chatter. One of my favorite seasons is coming up, Kellis, and I know you are excited as well. It is watch list season. That's right, where every single award, every single award that you didn't even know existed puts out a watch list.
Yeah, you're on my best radio host in Kansas watch list. I'll tell you that.
Yes. I'm so excited. I appreciate that, Kellis. With that being said, do you have a ranking of returning quarterbacks in the Big 12? This has been kind of a big talking point on the good old social media world, where there is a lot of returning quarterbacks coming to the Big 12 this year. Where do you have Will Howard in the returning quarterbacks? What would you rank Will Howard in the strength? Because there's about 5 that are back from last year. Where do you put Will Howard?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, you could, that question's so subjective. I think you could ask 5 different people from 5 different areas of the conference. You probably get 5 different answers. I believe that returning quarterbacks are, let's see if we can end. Quinn Ewers at Texas, Dylan Gabriel at Oklahoma, Jalen Daniels at Kansas, Will Howard at Kansas State. Who else am I missing? Any other big names in there?
Tyler Shuck from Tech. He got hurt last year. It seems like everybody got hurt last year.
Yeah. Texas Tech played 8 quarterbacks last year, so I don't really know who returner is. But okay, so there's a pretty good base there with those guys.
Blake Shapen, Baylor.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There's another good one. So, out of those players, I would probably rank Will Howard. I would probably rank Will Howard. Maybe second. I think Dylan Gabriel is probably the most accomplished guy in the league, and coming back for a second year in Brent Venables' system, I'd probably rank him 1. talent-wise, you maybe want to say Quinn Ewers because he was such a talented recruit coming out of high school. But, Will Howard was better than him last season. And there's no really reason to think that that's going to change. So, yeah, I'd put him at second, honestly. I guess you could say Jalen Daniels, too. It's just kind of hard to judge him because he got hurt right when he was playing so well last season. But, yeah, it's kind of funny if you think about it. You could put the KU and K-State returning quarterbacks 2 and 3 if you wanted to.
The Big 12 media poll, they just sent it to us. Are you going to fill it out? And how on earth are you going to fit in the newbies? What are you going to do with Houston, BYU, Cincinnati, and UCF?
So I always have mixed feelings about the preseason media poll. I don't usually vote in it just because the thought of filling in a all Big 12 team and figuring out who the best right guard and left guard in the league are seems annoying to me. So a lot of years I don't do it, but if I do it, I always debate: do I put down exactly what I think, or do I try to be contrarian and be that guy who the anonymous person who votes for Houston or Kansas out of nowhere to win the league? I don't know. I've always kind of wanted to be that guy. So you tell me, what should I do? Should I fill that thing out like I mean it, or should I just like total randomness in my order?
I'm going to give you a great answer. Right now, I am on season 3 of Ted Lasso, and Zava just told me last night, you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whoever you want to be, Kellis. So you do what you think is best. Go full Zava right now, okay?
All right. Well, when you see a random first place vote for BYU in there, John Claude, okay, Van Dam did it. Now,
yeah, I'm on board with that. I am. I think that's fantastic. Do you think K-State will get some first place votes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I bet they could sneak 1 or 2 in there. I mean, they're the defending champ. Most prognosticators I've seen have them 3. So yeah, I think they are deserving of 1 or 2 in there. Just depends who's voting. But I bet we'll see Texas 1, deserved or not. I think we'll see Oklahoma 2. I don't even think they're that good, but their schedule is very favorable. And then Kansas State 3, and then some mix of Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, Kansas. That's probably the top half of the league right there. And then we probably see a lot of the newcomers in West Virginia at the bottom.
All righty. Last 2 questions I got for you, 2 for the road. We'll go with kind of the Ted Lasso approach. Is there a TV show that you'd recommend myself or Fulton to watch?
Kind of a oldie, but I've been rewatching it lately. Are you guys Narcos fans?
Oh, I've not seen Narcos.
Haven't seen
that. So that's pretty good.
It's good. And if you get into it, there's like 6 seasons. So there's plenty to binge if you like it. And it kind of helps you learn Spanish too, because it's mostly in subtitles. So I like it. I'd recommend that show.
Alrighty. Well, how do you watch that? What's that on?
Netflix.
That's on Netflix. Okay, good. I got Netflix. And my last question I've got for you, when it comes to the Netflix quarterback docuseries, I'm sure you've seen that on social media. Will you watch that on July 12th or will you watch that on July 12th?
Yes, I will. I saw that trailer today. It looked really good. Their documentary on golf, Full Swing, whatever that was called, that was good. Pretty much every sports documentary I've seen on Netflix has been, grade A material. So I will be watching. That looks really good.
Kellis, as always, we appreciate it. And remember, you can be anything that you want to be. All right.
All right. I will heed your advice as soon as I fill out my poll here in the coming days.
Kellis Robinette of the Wichita Eagle at the Kansas City Star. Great stuff from Kellis. Always good to talk with Kellis on our Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line.
Got to season 3, have you?
Oh yeah,
you're just churning through it.
Yeah, Zava just told everybody that you can be anything.
Yeah.
I name my own. I let my kids name themselves once they get to 7 years old, which is why one of the kids' name was like Dirt or something like
that.
It
was good.
Or Dingus or something like that. And then then Zero wants to be called Van Dam.
Yeah, it's Van Dam.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
They just got destroyed by West Ham.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that plane backfired.
It did backfired bad. Yeah. So
that plane backfired.
don't want to do any more other spoilers here for those of you who are
maybe that's what I do tonight. Just rewatch all of Ted Lasso tonight.
Yeah. That could be it. We're gonna get to that. But yes, I'm looking forward to that. Won't be able to watch Ted Lasso today or tomorrow, because the wife is working.
So you gotta wait for the wife to be around.
You gotta wait for the wife.
If you're watching a show with somebody, you have to be patient and always watch the show with that person.
Yeah.
Which is why I prefer to watch shows myself.
I
don't like waiting.
I also really did think about watching it and then just acting surprised. Going, oh my gosh, sweetie, did you see that?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Buddy, let me tell you, you would fail at that within the first 10 minutes.
Oh, no, I could easily do that.
I feel like somehow it wouldn't work.
No, I could easily do that.
Okay. Well, now I think I kind of want you to do it now just to see if it worked.
See, and then Fulton, this goes to it's a cost benefit analysis.
Yeah.
And the cost does not benefit.
No.
It's not worth it. No, it's not worth it.
It's not worth the potential, upsettingness that you would cause.
No.
Just watch something else.
Just figure out something else.
Not watching any sports tonight.
I mean, I can watch the Royals because it's not going to affect my mood.
That's fair.
If anything, it's maybe it's comedy. It's a comedy. It's definitely it's not a rom-com.
No, it's not. Nothing romantic involved.
No, 2014 was a rom-com.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, we're starting out so bad. Oh, no, this stinks. Oh, hit rock bottom. Oh gosh, we have to have a meeting between us, and then we figure it out, and then oh my goodness, it just goes all the way to the
Yeah.
The Royals in 2014 were essentially like the movie The Breakup.
Okay.
Where it was bad, but then and then it was good, and then at the end they don't get back together. The Royals don't win the World Series, but and it ended up being better for both of them. Just like it ended up being better for the Royals. So, no, I can watch it and not have it affect my mood, or I'll just laugh. Where you can't do that, Fulton.
No, I got problems.
No, you can't do that.
I got problems.
My list is quite extensive for what you can do.
There's a lot of options.
But I'm going to whittle it down to the 4 things that I really do think you should do.
Okay.
We will get to that, and we'll talk a little college accounting numbers coming up next. Up with Jake and Fulton coming to you on a Wednesday. We appreciate you stopping by. We will hear from some Kansas City Chiefs. We'll hear from Joe Tooney, Jerick McKinnon, and Sky Moore coming up in the bottom of the hour, as well as the 2 o'clock hour here on this edition of Mic'd Up. Jacob on Fultoncaster with you. As always, let us know your thoughts on our text line, 785-272-9429. And we are suggesting ideas on what Fulton should do today besides watch the Royals. Because this would be good. It would be cathartic and therapeutic. That would be 2 days in a row you wouldn't have to watch the Royals. Because they do not play tomorrow.
Could go take a long walk off a short pier.
I don't know how you're going to get there, but maybe, yes, do that, because you can't get to a pier here. You would have to leave like right after work. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to watch the Royals. So I like that. I'm okay with that. Fulton, I can spin anything right now. Man.
I'm impressed with that one.
That
was well done.
I'm like the spin doctors right now.
That was well done.
Happening.
Well done.
So let us know, what should Fulton do? That is our list topic today. What should Fulton do besides watch the Royals? Some news from Chiefs training camp. Chris Jones is not in attendance again. So Chris Jones, not in attendance. Not a big surprise, to be honest with you. He's trying to get a new contract. And if you are trying to do a new contract, this is just part of it. And when you're dealing with $70 and $80 million, you don't really care about it. So we do know that. We have also found out from one Jerick McKinnon that he is not at mandatory minicamp, and it is excused. Jerick McKinnon basically said, yeah, the Chiefs gave him a pass, so don't worry about that. My guess is that was negotiated with his 1-year contract.
Yeah, it was like, I'm not going to show up to minicamp this year. We good?
And the Chiefs said, sure. All right, you're old. We're
do some wind sprints on the side.
Yeah, basically.
You're good, bro.
He says he's going to be ready to go for training camp day number 1. And really, we don't need Jerick McKinnon until about week 9, to be honest with you. Let other people deal with that, and then we bring in the best wide receiver that the Chiefs have, and Jerick McKinnon to catch all sorts of touchdowns for the Kansas City Chiefs out of the backfield in weeks, 10 through 17, and then the playoffs. So that's the latest news, at least from the Kansas City Chiefs, is no Chris Jones. Couple guys didn't practice yesterday, practiced today. Some of them who practiced today didn't practice yesterday. So Justin Ross, as well as Kadarius Toney, a couple of them that did not practice yesterday or practice today, vice versa. So otherwise, that's really not a whole lot of new news when it comes to the Chiefs training camp and what's happening right now. From the text line, Fulton should rewatch. I don't even know if you watched it, though. So Fulton just should watch the Detroit Lions Hard Knocks. Dan Campbell is therapeutic. There you go.
Okay. I've never watched a single minute of any Hard Knocks season ever.
They can be pretty good. They can be all right.
But I mean, maybe.
They can be good.
Maybe.
You can probably watch that. Do you get NFL Network?
Technically.
The
technically is I can always win and bum off my dad's Dish TV subscription.
Okay, so there you go.
That's most cable channels I watch through some way. I use my father's satellite
All
TV.
right, that's okay.
Because my dad will never get rid of hardline TV, and I will use that until he would make me stop, which is never.
Your dad and I are on the same boat.
For probably different reasons, but same boat.
Yeah, there we go.
Because you can actually use streaming services.
Correct.
You can't.
Do both.
You can't be giving strays to my dad on the weekend of Father's Day.
I don't know. Father's Day's not this.
It's this weekend. It's this Sunday.
It's this Sunday?
It's this Sunday.
It's the 18th?
Yes. This Sunday is Father's Day.
That's not really a stray.
It's not.
Your dad knows he can't
he
do
knows.
that.
Because I give him crap about it all the time.
That's not
That's true.
A stray is like, oh gosh, it was Cam Jordan talking about the NFL to the rookies, who's like, if you think you're gonna be slow, we call that Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah,
that's a stray.
That was funny.
That's a stray.
That was really funny.
If you do it fast and you do it wrong, that still could help out the team. If you do it slow and right,
it's Kirk Cousins.
You're Kirk Cousins. Ooh-wee. Speaking of Kirk Cousins, the Netflix docuseries,
dude,
Quarterback.
I am so excited for the Kirk Cousins part of this, and I'm not even kidding.
I love the 3 people that they chose. I have no idea how many episodes it is. Is it going to be like Full Swing, where it was, Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth one episode, and then it was Tony Finau, and then it was, Brooks Koepka, and it was like 9 episodes, and it was, one person per episode essentially.
Yeah.
Or
was it gonna be like kind of like a mixture,
all
three
of
at
them
the same time
for 5 episodes?
I really wonder how if I had to predict a month out of what this is gonna look like, I think they'll probably shoot for 6 to 8 episodes. And I think it'll be all 3 in every episode. And we're just going to go segment by segment of the season. And they'll probably culminate with a Super Bowl episode, more Mahomes centric than anything else, but maybe some like thoughts of, Cousins and Mariota's off seasons. But I feel like it's definitely going to go like preseason early on, then, early weeks, mid weeks, late season, playoffs. Like, I feel like that's going to be the structure. And we're going to get all 3 some weaves, because it feels like what they're trying to tell is a story of 3 quarterbacks at 3 vastly different stages.
Yes.
Of Mariota, the ultimate journeyman,
gets benched.
Yeah, gets benched midseason or late season more than anything. Cousins, the
guy who can't win the big one.
Yeah, can't win the big one, but can get you some wins. You can steer a ship with him, but it might not get to the promised land. And then faces the NFL. Like, I feel like if that's the story they're trying to tell, the proper way to tell that story is to always weave those. Because like Full Swing was a bunch of different mini stories.
Yes.
Whereas I think Quarterback is one big overall thread they're going to pull through it.
And
that's been film storytelling with Fulton Caster.
I am so interested to see how the off the field footage, because in the little teaser that they gave, the trailer, it talks about how, even his wife, Brittany, says, he dedicates his life to football. And he goes, and she's like, I really like it when we have time to spend as a family together.
She can get him to stop being a football player.
Yeah. And he even says there, people don't realize how much time goes into it. They just see on the field aspect of it. And there's some lighthearted moments with everyone. They talk about, Kirk Cousins' fashion style is dad style.
Oh, yeah.
And
then we get some shots of Kirko Cousins.
Yep. And then you've got a little bit of Patrick Mahomes and his wife out doing some stuff, and just as a family. Like I'm more excited about this than I am the full swing.
Dude, I'm so excited for this. And part of it is Mahomes. Part of it is I'm never going to not be excited for a sports documentary about teams that I love deeply and players on the teams that I am such a big fan of. I'm always going to love that. But it's just, I just really feel it's going to be such an interesting glimpse into something we don't get glimpses into. Like, these are just three dudes that we don't know that much about, because Cousins has never reported on a ton because of just his standing. Same thing with Marcus Mariota. And then Pat, he's the face of the NFL, but he's so picky about his private life.
Yes.
Which, listen, that's his prerogative. Like, if he wants to be as private as he wants to be off the field, dude, go for it. Like, live your life and have some semblance of it for yourself.
And he's not, like, crazy private, because he does show some stuff on Instagram. Yeah. He does,
but
he does different things. He's got the match coming up with Kelce.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff out in the community and stuff outside of football. But overall, you can tell he has a part of his life he likes to just be like, this is my private life. And it's gonna be nice to actually get kind of a glimpse into that.
Yeah, and his routine. I mean, with the fact that there's only 3 of them, gives you, I think, more coverage.
You can go deeper
instead of the, what did they do? Almost 15, 16 PGA guys.
Yeah, they did like 2 to 3 guys an episode.
Yeah, so
there was 12 episodes.
This will be fun. That's exciting. I do know this on July 12th when it gets released. I will be watching it in a hotel room in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, that is, let's see, because July 12th, that's some perfect grade A timing, because that should be the day after the All-Star game too for baseball. The only All-Star game that I will watch. So I'll be with nothing else going on, so I'm just going to immediately binge that.
Yeah, and Tuesday and Wednesday, the 12th and or Wednesday and Thursday,
there's no baseball.
Is Big 12 football media.
And there you go. We get that thrown in there too. Man, just some great stuff here.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. It's a good release date. I like a release date that coincides with me having nothing else going on. So it's like I don't have to balance how I'm going to fit it in. It's just, nope, that's its day now. I wonder if they're going to drop it all at once. I assume they will.
Yeah, they will.
Netflix likes to do that with most of their things. They just do a full drop.
Then you can just full on binge watch it.
Which is great, because then by the time the 13th rolls around, I'll have watched everything. Buddy, depending on the time they release that on the 12th, I will probably come to work on Thursday having watched everything. Depending on how many episodes we got in time. If it's 8 episodes all nearly an hour long, I don't think I can squeeze in 8 hours of a show in one night.
You do you, man.
I need sleep. I'm not a full owl like Brendan is.
You do you. Before we get to our list topic today, thought this was very interesting. The NCAA, or I guess I should say this, the schools that are public. Now, some of these schools are private and they don't have to release this information.
Yes.
But the public schools do.
Correct.
And they go with total revenue and total expenses. Okay. Who's made the most money and their expenses. Now, the schools that have made the most money this year in revenue, just revenue, not profit, but revenue. The Ohio State Buckeyes, $251 million in revenue. Their expenses were $225 million. So they made $26 million They profited $26 million. Texas spent revenue of $239 million, but they spent $225 million, so a profit of $14 million. Alabama third in revenue at $214 million. Michigan revenue $210. Georgia $203 million in revenue, but they only spent $170. So they were $30 million to the good. Georgia was.
Yeah.
So you got Big Ten, SEC, because Texas is SEC now, just in name only, they're Big 12. So you got Big Ten, SEC, SEC, Big Ten, SEC, 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 Big Ten, and then the 10th most revenue team, Oklahoma, $177 million. However, they spent $175 million. They only profited $2 million. What's going on over there, Joe Castiglione? So let's move on down the line. What about the local schools? Kansas comes in at 35th, $118 million in revenue for the Kansas Jayhawks. Their expenses, $108 million. Means they made around $10 million, according to this. What about Kansas State? Kansas State came in at 49th with $100 million in revenue. Almost 101. We'll call it 101 since it's $100 million.8. So 101. So $17 million less than Kansas. But K-State's expenses, honestly, the lowest of the top 50. $82 million in expenses for Kansas State. So that means that they are profitable by $18 million. Not only does Gene Taylor hire good coaches, put good products on the field.
Pretty smart with his money.
And very efficient, it seems like. He can balance the checkbook. He knows what to allocate and what not to. $82 million in expenses. The only other team that is lower than that it looks like the Power 5 is, the newbies.
Yeah.
Houston at 73, Cincinnati at 75. So that is some of the numbers on the revenue generation. Are you ready for this, though?
Hit me with it.
The lowest revenue generating Power 5 teams are in the Pac-12. Colorado, Oregon State, and Washington. All right. That shouldn't be a surprise. So they don't generate a ton of money. Just to let you know, Washington State generated $85 million. So K-State is $15 million above them. Oregon State, $83 million. So they just didn't generate a ton. And then you have to go all the way down to Colorado at 51st. Okay, so they are not generating a ton of revenue.
No.
This is why Colorado might look towards the Big 12.
Bigger media deals with your revenue.
Yes, no question. And if you go by just average, okay, let me rephrase that. I'd get yelled at right here by my, math teachers. The median, okay, which is not the average. The median is right in the middle, right?
Yep.
The Pac-12 is just crazy below. 96 million is revenue, whereas the Big 12, 107 million. The ACC, a little top heavy at 125 million, but that is going to stay stagnant, and the Big 12 is going to increase. So that's something that is kind of interesting. There's some other interesting numbers when it comes to this, like case in point, like Louisville generated 146 million. That surprised me. Louisville revenue, $146 million. I would not have thought that. I really didn't. Virginia, 161 million. Like some of these I'm not surprised at, but that one I was surprised that it was that number.
Yeah.
Interesting. Coming up next, everyone loves the list. What should Fulton do instead of watch the Royals? Well, you're in a unique situation because this list is about you, my friend. What should Fulton do besides watch the Royals? And
Yeah, it's weird.
do you want me to just go with the list all myself and tell you what you should do?
I mean, we could. I also do have a little bit of a list for myself
what do you got?
here.
What do you got? Number 4.
No, for me, I could, work on a skill.
Okay. Number 4, read a book.
Yep.
Read something.
Yeah, I got a book I could read. I just bought myself a new book.
Read it. Don't watch the Royals.
I could.
Number 3.
I could take a walk.
Okay.
I could just go take a walk.
You like video games?
I do.
Play video games.
I could.
Number
Got some good
3,
ones.
play video games or play your D&D. Do some prep work for Monday.
I could.
Do something productive there.
I could. Number 2, you brought this to me. I could go golf. Go play some golf.
Number 2, go golf.
I could.
Go golf.
I could do it.
Go work out. See, I didn't say go for a walk because going for a walk and golfing is the same thing, except for you have a task when
why
you're
is
golfing.
Why just enjoying nature? I do enjoying nature. Number 1 for me, just watch a movie.
Okay.
Just sit down, watch something enjoyable. Could go to the movies. Haven't seen the new Spider-Man yet.
Ooh.
Could go watch that.
Do that.
I could. It's therapeutic.
You have just given yourself 4 things that you can do. All right.
I have.
My number 1 thing.
What could I do?
For you to do instead of watching the Royals play.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that?
Thought about this.
Okay.
Long and hard.
Okay.
Literally anything else.
Just anything.
Do anything
That's fair.
else. You know, I feel like Alex Trebek on Celebrity Jeopardy, you know. Say any letter. Anyone will do. Do anything else.
Okay. We'll see.
Coming up, we're going to hear from the Chiefs who spoke today, and Jerick McKinnon, Joe Thuney, and Sky Moore. Suggestions for Fulton, several of them, including from the text line, and this is hilarious. You can learn how to fish.
This joke needs to die. I caught 15 fish in a 3-day period.
No, that was really funny, Fulton. That was well played.
No, it's not, and it will die. And this is the last time I'm gonna get even a modicum upset about it. I've squashed the haters. I've squashed the rumors. I can do it. I just had one bad year. Get a new slant. Get a new joke.
No, I thought that was funny.
Peace out.
I thought that was funny. So you've got plenty of ideas. I would not suggest a couple of them that Brendan decided to throw out there.
Man, Brendan though gave me just 4 absolute heaters.
But no, those are absolutely, that is not the term I would describe 2 of those.
No, Brendan gave me 4 heaters,
not
man.
4 of them. Absolutely not. If you choose 2 of those, I'm going to question your sanity. But I also question your sanity because you invest too much in the Royals.
I was about to say, brother, you already question it nowadays.
But he says to go watch any other baseball game. Do it. You love baseball. Go watch a good baseball team.
I'll watch the Oakland A's.
Or go watch the 1994 movie with Keanu Reeves and a young Sandy Bullock in Speed. Great movie. Great.
Again, Brendan gave me some heaters.
Those are the other 2. Those are the only heaters he gave you. He gave you 2 others that I don't want you to do.
They make me laugh, though.
Yeah, but I don't want you to do. So they're
buddy, I don't want
to.
One of those I really don't want to do because it will get me in trouble.
Well, that and the other one. Well, they both will. Okay. But
one of those will get me in more immediate trouble.
Correct. So let us know. Hit us up on our text line 785-272-9429. There were 4 Royals that spoke to the 4 Chiefs. 4 Chiefs that spoke to the media today. Joe Tooney, MVS, Jerick McKinnon, and Sky Moore. We will try to sandwich all 4 of them in for you over the next hour. But Joe Tooney met with the media today, and here is what Tooney had to say.
Obviously, some new guys on the ends there. Just how you think it's working with Donovan and Juwan so far?
Yeah, they've been great. Digging in the playbooks. They're great guys to be around. Obviously, really good football players too, and they've been doing a great job, and it's been fun to play with them. And yeah, nothing but great things to say.
Anything they do differently that you noticed from what you work with them?
It's super early, but they're just like I said, nothing but good things to see from them, and pumped that they're here. Yeah.
What has this offseason been like for you? I mean, you've been through the Super Bowl thing before, but has it been any different or anything?
Yeah, just the offseason gets squeezed a little bit, but it's always a good thing if you're playing in February, and but it's been nothing. Just kind of take a little time off of the season, then get back into football shape, and now we got another little break before camp, and just maintain that and go into camp ready to go.
How do you spend your break?
I'll go back to Ohio, see my family. I got some nieces and nephews and 3 siblings there, so it's always good to see them and get some Ohio food. So,
Joe, when you've been part of the team that has gone to the Super Bowl like this program, is there something different when you are doing these OTAs and heading into training camp? Is there more excitement? I mean, you guys, there's so many veterans, but young mixed in, and then of course you have Coach Reed. Is there something, I don't know, that's extra special about being part of this group that every time you're on the field, you guys just can't wait to get out there?
Yeah, it is, a special group, and what a special season it was. But I think, credit to Coach Reed and Pat, and everyone's coming out focused, ready to go each day, and realizing that it's a new season. Nothing. It's 2023, and we haven't really done anything yet, so got to prepare, and everyone's 0-0 at this point, so just credit to the guys. Everyone's coming out to work hard.
There'll be a ring ceremony here coming up
and we've heard a little bit about how it's going to transpire. I'm wondering how your previous ones went. Was it a big ceremony, or how did it go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just focused on this year and this ring ceremony. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to celebrate with the guys. And like I said, such a special group this past season, and it'll be good to see some of the other guys. And but it's a great. We appreciate the Chiefs organization for putting it together, and excited to partake in it.
Was there not a ring ceremony previously?
Oh, there was, yeah. Yeah.
Joe, you're going into the season working next to a new left tackle. What extra steps do you intend on taking to make sure that you guys are okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, Donovan's been great getting the playbook, and just when you come to a new team, just learning the playbook, and but we just communicating a ton, talking, saying how we see the game and stuff like that, and working together day by day, and but he's done a great job.
Is there anything specifically that you're working on going from last year to this year? Say I want to clean up something or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things I can improve on. There's not one aspect where I'm like, oh, I'm fine. So everything I can improve on, and like it's a day-to-day process, and it's awesome about it though.
Joe, I have two questions for you. The first is, you're so consistent in terms of playing down to down. Was last year the first year where you actually played through something in your career?
In the NFL, no one's 100%. I don't think when you get to the season, so everyone's playing with something. Everyone's got something going on. So, it's just part of the game, part of the business, and got a lot of tough teammates, which I really respect. And we all, it's the NFL. Everyone, has something going on. So, just got a lot of respect for my teammates and this organization.
And the second question I have is, when you came from New England to Kansas City, I mean, Bill Belichick has been running training camps for obviously decades now. Same with Andy Reid. What was the most memorable thing going from Bill to Andy in that first year with the Chiefs?
Yeah, I mean, the structure of training camp practice is not that different. I mean, it's, very, productive but taxing and tiring practices, and, you can get a lot out of them, but they're hard, and they prepare you really well for the season. But there wasn't a ton of differences. It was, however long we could be out there, we're out there and we're working hard and using every minute of it, trying to. And so there was, not a lot of difference that I noticed. So yeah.
What have your interactions been like so far with Nagy as now the OC? A lot of the guys knew him from before, and you didn't know he was quarterback coach last year. You felt him a little bit, but what's it been like? Any difference with Eric? Yeah, I mean, coach has been great, and very detail oriented, and knows the offense inside and out. So it's been great learning from him, and but yeah, he's been doing really well. So your Patriots rings, where do you keep those? Can't say that. I can't tell you. Yes. Nice try. No, I'm sure. But I mean, I was trying to think, like, there's not many situations where you wear them. So, but they're somewhere.
Joe Thuney, not quite as electrifying as Bob Bowlesby. He's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. What about Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Just had his softball game. Mahomes went yard on that. But MVS spoke to the media, and could he be wide receiver one technically? This is what MVS had to say to the media today.
Well, first, to wrap up from the softball, how much money you guys got and how just beneficial it was for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. The community coming out and supporting that cause, speaks volume to what this community does and how much they support our Chiefs. I'm grateful. And then all the guys that came out, I think they had more fun than the fans did. So that was always good as well.
Richie James and a couple of these new guys that are to the table along with the rookies, just how do you feel their development's coming into this program? I know it's OTAs and everything, but just what do you see from them just as a veteran? Yeah, man, Richie's been doing a hell of a job. He's a Florida boy. We're from close to the same area, so high expectations out of him from me. But he's done a great job. Came in and doesn't talk much, just goes to work, learns the plays, and gets after it. Same with a lot of those guys. I mean, pretty much our whole room is getting after it. It's a passing camp, and we're the receivers, so we catch all the passes. And they've been doing a good job learning it. Making some mistakes, but fixing them and keeping it rolling.
There's obviously a lot of hoopla that comes along when you win a Super Bowl. There's so many different events. You've got the ring ceremony tomorrow night. How do you handle it? I mean, how do you kind of, manage your schedule to make sure that you've got football time, you time, and, you can still enjoy the ride?
Hoopla is a funny word. I mean, it's life, man. We're grateful to be in that position. I'd rather have less time because we won a Super Bowl than, free time and not doing anything. So we're grateful for it. It's work, man. And, we're grateful to be in that position. We take the time that we need to when we have it. And when we're here to work, we go to work.
Any input on the ring?
I haven't seen it yet, man. So I guess we'll find out tonight.
So last year was all new to you here with this offense. How much better do you feel like at this point to get through mandatory?
Man, I feel as good as I did last year, man. I'm a quick learner. I'm a competitor. So, there's nothing that I'm ever going to be afraid of. Obviously, second year in the system is always good, but I feel like I picked it up pretty quick last year as well. So it wasn't really that new to me, after about, 2 weeks or so. So, I'm just excited for what we can do this year. Last year was great, won a Super Bowl, but we got to do it all over again. So I'm excited about the new challenge.
Marquez, do you notice anything about this team, your current champions, the way they go about their business and OTAs, the way you're getting ready for training camp, even the way the coaches handle things? Do they try to push you to elevate a little bit? Do they try to get you to stay where you are? I mean, sometimes people are champions and they like the sound of it, and it's a different thing.
I mean, I think it starts with our head man. And he's the same guy every single day, no matter win, lose, draw, Super Bowl, no playoffs, whatever. He's going to be the same person. And his, level of standard that he expects us to play at every day is going to stay the same. And I think that's what makes him, the best coach to ever do this thing. And so having a guy like that, lead the show every single day and, never get too high, never get too low. He's always the same guy, standing at practice, making sure everything goes right, making sure we finish, making sure everything is good on our end. I think that's the standard that he holds for us and, just trickles down to everybody below.
How much do you look back at your playoff performance? You're able to look at the yardage and the 2 touchdowns and kind of say to yourself, okay, I can maybe use this as a launching pad to do even more?
I don't, man. I know I can play football. I know I can play football really well. It's nothing about, what happened in the playoffs or in the regular season, man. Just throw me the ball and good things happen. And that's kind of how I've always been. It's never get concerned with the numbers, never get concerned with, what happened on this play, man. Just keep going. I believe in myself more than anybody, and I won't ever change. And that starts with my faith. And so I know who I believe in, and that's kind of it.
Last couple.
What do you see from Sky lately?
Just a guy who just wants to keep growing and getting better. Just goes to work, making plays, man. He's a hell of a player. That's why they drafted him in the second round a year ago. And for him to go out and do what he did last year and be kind of thrown in the fire at every position, kick return, punt return, kind of just having to do it all, it just shows that the faith that they have in him as a player, and just him taking that next step and growing as a man, and just understanding, what his responsibilities are now as a second-year guy opposed to a first-year guy. You can see him really starting to take those next steps.
Marquez, how do you handle being the old guy in the receiving room compared to when you came in last year and earlier in your career?
I mean, I had some pretty good vets when I was the young guy. I got, I think 2 of the best vets to ever teach me about playing receiver, with Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb. Just seeing those guys go to work every day, and then having a guy like Aaron when I was, the young guy, seeing what that looks like, and then now being able to do that, in a different light and be that veteran to those guys, and watching how Pat and Trav go about their business, it's just like I got to be that same guy for the young guys in my room too.
Last one, anyone?
Anybody?
Did you ever get one of Andy Reid's eyebrows? Travis Kelce was talking yesterday about how you got to watch out for when Andy raises an eyebrow.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Reid doesn't really have a lot of emotion, and so if you do get some emotion out of Coach Reid, it's like one of those like, ooh, I might have messed up for real. And so it doesn't happen, but I have gotten that before. It's actually in the meeting room, and so that's for another day. But I actually did get it once, and not a good feeling. It's like when you get in trouble by your granddad or something. It's like not a good thing.
So that is what MVS had to say there. 2 things stood out. One, if you do get the eyebrow from Andy Reid, that's everybody's dad or everybody's mom had that saying or that look where you knew, oh crap.
You done did a thing.
Yeah. You never want to hear that, you know. It's not the yelling, it's not the even, you know, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, because that makes you feel, you know, like a failure. But in this situation, it's oh dear. And you knew it too right away. The other, he thinks hoopla is a funny word.
It is, though. He's 100% correct. Hoopla is an incredibly funny word. It's up there with one of the funnier words in the English language.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't think hoopla is that.
Hoopla is a funny word. It's a weird word. Hoopla's fun. Brouhaha might be my favorite.
Is that a legit word?
Brouhaha?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the dictionary.
Like, that is an actual in the dictionary word is brouhaha. That was a vocabulary word for me in high school. It was brouhaha.
Okay. Do you know what the definition is?
If I remember correctly, it's like
It is. Hold on. I'm at dictionary.com.
Yeah, it's in the dictionary.
Yeah, it is.
If
I did not realize
it's
that.
something like I could not give you word for word, which my junior English teacher, Mr. Bradshaw, would be so disappointed in me right now. It's like a large melee breaking out, or like a large disagreement is what I remember it's supposed to be meaning. Something around that.
It is a noun. And it's got one definition.
Mm-hmm.
A loud, confused noise, commotion, uproar.
Yeah, it's brouhaha.
Do you know how to spell it?
Brouhaha.
You said that way too fast.
Brouhaha.
Hey, brouhaha. Well done. Good job, Mr. Sanderson. Anderson? Who'd you say, Mr.
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
That was my junior year English teacher, who that was one of our vocabulary words was brouhaha. He's also the one that understood the nerdy things I was into, and so for one of our, I'm fully going on a tangent here. Everyone deal with it. One of our vocabulary words was avarice, and for fun, part of his teaching structure was like images to represent the words, and he made a lovely orange lanterns reference for me with avarice, since the orange lanterns are tied to greed. It was very fun for me. I felt seen. Shout out Bradshaw, fantastic English teacher, one of my best teachers to this day.
All right.
Also put up with a lot of crap from me.
Brouhaha, funny word. Hoopla, not really.
Hoopla's funny. What's a word to you that's not brouhaha that's funnier than hoopla?
I never really thought of that. But
you ever think about words that are funny? I occasionally do. My brain is also really weird. Brouhaha is always I love brouhaha. It's a great word.
That is a
when
good
I
one.
can find an excuse to use a brouhaha, said that a brouhaha is breaking out.
No, I'm all right with that.
It's great. Top tier.
Coming up, we will get to Jarek McKinnon, Sky Moore, a little bit from them, as well as a little You Did What here on the final hour of Mic'd Up here on 580 WIBW. Of Mic'd Up on this Wednesday. Jake and Fulton Caster with you. We're going to hear from Jerick McKinnon and Sky Moore. Both had to say some interesting things right now. They spoke to the media today. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid will meet with the media tomorrow to wrap up the offseason. Then the next time that the Chiefs will speak will be training camp at the end of July. That will be coming up here in over a month up in St. Joe. As always, let us know your thoughts on our text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Check us out on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@sportson580. Hit the subscribe button as well. We'll get to some Royals baseball, but we have determined if the Royals do not win tonight, it is an off day tomorrow. Therefore, it will be an off day tomorrow for us talking about the Kansas City Royals.
Yep.
If for some odd reason tomorrow they lose tonight and we'll have lost 9 in a row, 3 straight series, we are not going to talk about them at all. And if you utter anything about them, it goes into like the swear jar, but it's going to go into the Royals jar. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. So Royals are in action tonight. 7:10 first pitch, 6:30 pregame coverage. Daniel Lynch on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
Going up a guy who has been lively.
Dude, you used this joke yesterday.
It's funny.
No, it's not.
Made this joke to a friend of mine and they laughed.
You have so many better jokes you've used in your time.
I had a couple good ones today. Even referenced your favorite movie today, man. Get off my back.
No, that was top tier.
Get off my back. I've given you great suggestions instead of watching this Royals game. I'll watch it for you. Okay. Here, you do one of the things that was listed by myself. Dan gave you some good ones. He just gave you an image.
It was a great image.
A whole lot of stuff.
It was pretty great.
And then during the game, when I'm able to watch, I will text you what's going on. Fun fact, I'm not going to text you because you don't need to know. You need to take a break. You need a day off. You need a couple days off. You need to get away from it for a little bit, you know?
I need to take a second vacation.
No, you just need to not watch the Royals for 2 days.
That's true. I really do appreciate the image Dan sent with some great things about what I could do instead. You know, talk about my feelings, keep active, throw my phone in the lake, lie down in the dirt and let the earth slowly reclaim me.
Be one with nature.
Kiss a bird gently.
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that.
Don't do that.
Make fun of someone you don't like. This is top tier. Like, I really appreciate the image.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
It's really funny.
That's basically being an internet tough guy, and I side on the with the great Mike Tyson. Too many people say stuff online and haven't gotten punched in the mouth for it, because you wouldn't say that stuff to other people's faces. Call those internet tough guys. So don't do that. If you do, you need to go up to them in person and say it to them.
Okay, I'll go to Kansas City. I got a lot of things to say to those guys.
The Royals.
I'll grab a megaphone. I'll have a sign.
Well played. That was well played. I like that.
I got a lot to get off the chest there.
I like that. I thought that was good.
Mr. Sherman and I might need to have some words. We'll have a little bit of a brouhaha. We'll call back to the end of the hour.
Zero chance you and him have a brouhaha.
No, because I would see him and get to say 3 words, and then someone would come tackle me.
Probably.
That's what would happen.
We're going to hear from some Chiefs. Here's what Jerick McKinnon had to say to the media earlier today.
How are you feeling physically?
Pretty straight. Last year was a long year. I was fortunate to make it through the whole season, every game. But those hits definitely take a toll on you. Going into year 10, older guy. So the good thing about, being here, the coaching staff, medical staff, everybody's on the same page with, coming up with a plan to make sure, I'm good to go for the season.
Eric, how much consideration did you give to actually maybe leaving Kansas City? And were there other teams interested in what led you back here?
A couple other teams. Really, only one other team. Another team kind of was, on a waiver, but it's always somewhere I wanted to be. I said that last year. I felt the same way this year. So, the whole free agency, trying to get things done and get on the same page is always a process. But, fortunately, I was able to come back and, this is where my heart is, and I'm excited to be here again.
Does everything look different as a champion?
It does. It feels different, too. But, the thing about it is once you get that feeling and the taste of it, you want more. And it's definitely the right team to be on to do that.
You were known, Jared, obviously, for making the sacrifice for the team to not score a touchdown to help you guys seal the game. When people approach you now as a champion, how much does that get brought up in conversations?
Probably every time. But, God is good. God is great. He put me in that moment for a purpose. And, I did what I had to do. So, I'm glad, like you said, I'm glad to be called a champion. Get our rings tomorrow. I'm excited about that. And it's going to be good.
Have you thought that when your career is summed up, you might be most known for that moment?
Yeah, hopefully I can get another moment. But, if that's the way it sums up, I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with it. Definitely would like to get another Super Bowl. I think that was not the only thing, but, that's why we play the game, to get a Super Bowl, not the individual awards, but to hold that trophy at the end and, see everybody happy and go through those emotions together after, you go through a whole season in training camp of, up and down emotions, roller coasters and all that stuff.
I was talking to us yesterday about some FaceTimes that you and Isaiah and him have together, like in the off season, kind of just sticking together.
Yeah.
And kind of the stuff that you've helped him through some things and stuff. What's it been like to mentor those young players who have kind of been on some different trajectories?
It's been fun because, the thing about it is, when you're young, you want to make it to the NFL, and then you know, you want to do great things, and you know, obviously things of that nature. But everybody has their own course and their own little story and what they go through, and I think that's what makes, you know, everybody's journey that special. So you know, anything that I can, you know, host out and, you know, relate to those guys that I might have been through to help them get through that and to that next level and just keep playing at a high level. You know, I'm always happy to do so.
Clyde's been through a lot with injuries and need his option picked up.
Yep.
He looks like he's always had a great attitude. Everything we've ever been around with. Do you see the same thing?
Of course, he's definitely a locker room guy. You know, if you go in the locker room or ask anybody on the team, even though he's a younger guy, his character sticks out a lot. He's definitely older than, you know, his age, you know, maturity level and things of that nature. So, you know, everything that he's going through, I think he's handled it pretty well. You know, just to be here and keep grinding and, you know, keep stepping forward, speaks on his character, speaks on his athleticism, and then just how much he can hold as a person. You know, that could be a lot on a young guy.
You mentioned year 10, and you know, Coach Reed last year said, you know, he said you were a dinosaur.
Yeah,
at this position.
Fossil. Yeah.
How much of that plays into your offseason plan? I mean, as far as what the coaches and the training staff, you know, to try to is there a presence that, you know, intention that kind of keep your workload down so you're fresher in the season?
I would definitely say so. You know, like I said, it's different when you're young. You know, you come in, you seen Pop last year, everything's 100 miles per hour. As you get older, it's like a little different. But like I said, the coaching staff, the medical staff, they've been great these past 3 years that I've been with the Chiefs at coming up with a plan, making sure, you know, I stay healthy. I've been through my injuries and setbacks and things of that nature. And, you know, last year outside of all the great accomplishments, you know, for me, just making it, you know, every game and not missing the game was definitely one of them. And that's credit to the medical staff and the coach staff.
You anticipate being just full go once day one training camp happens?
Oh, yeah, I'll be full go for sure. Yeah, it's time to go.
What are your hopes for this season for yourself?
Myself, I like being named team captain again. That was good. But, you know, for me, like I said, as long as you keep, you know, the end goal at mind, the Super Bowl, and, you know, you just maximize the reps, the opportunities, you know, the single individual things that come after that. I'm not really focused on, you know, individual statistics and stuff like that. That'll come along with the opportunities and, you know, the work I put in.
And Eric, Eric Prince, the free agent in your room, he wants to be a viable pass catching back, which is something.
Yeah, he's nice. I've seen him on the film, and
what have you seen so far in that regard?
For first of all, to be that big and that athletic is definitely rare. I think the first thing I texted the guys was like, "Who's 34?" Like, he's big as hell, and he's moving really fast. But he's been definitely a standout for sure. I know the coaches love him. We love him. I can't wait to see what he does in camp. And then me physically be out there and, you know, give my veteran presence and then just watch him go from there. But it definitely be fun to watch him learn and take that next challenge.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Going back to the time you came into the NFL, if somebody had told you then, this is what your career is going to be like. You're going to have that knee injury in the middle of it, but you're going to come through on the other side. Would you have taken this? I mean, was this maybe more than what you'd hoped when you first came into the league?
No, not at all. Maybe on the injury aspect, I never thought I would, you know, tear my ACL and then had to go through a revision and miss 2 years in a row. But the thing about me, my career, my life, you know, when an obstacle presents itself, I've always found a way to overcome. And so on that aspect, no. But as far as like, you know, the multiple injuries, I probably wouldn't say I envisioned all of that. But coming on the other side, I definitely can see myself doing that.
We have 3 more. Let's go Nick, Blair, and then DJ, okay? Go ahead, Nick.
Jared, when you get to put that ring on tomorrow, what's that moment going to mean to you with all that you've gone through to get to that point?
Well, I cried at the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna cry tomorrow. But I probably pour me a nice little shot of tequila with my guys, and then, you know, have a little shot with the guys. So it'll be smooth. Be smooth.
So just to be clear, no Super Bowl touchdown for a ring. Good trade.
Great trade. Great trade. I wouldn't change it for nothing.
Jared, so at this point in your career, what does it mean just that the Chiefs they let you play it out in free agency, but then they ultimately brought you back in?
It just shows where I stand in their minds. You know, how they value me, what they think about me, and, you know, being able to come back. Now that Chad gone, I think I'm like the second oldest guy on the team. It's like I said, it's fun. It's always fun to watch the younger guys come in and, you know, not know what's going on and watch them learn, go over that learning curve, and then take off from there. That's definitely been probably the most exciting part about being a veteran guy on the team.
That is what Jerick McKinnon had to say. When you just hear him talk, he screams fossil. I'm with Andy Reid on that. How great is that? You can definitely tell he's one of the more guys that is a little bit humorous, can joke, have a lot of fun. But it also just goes to show you that he knows kind of his situation. Last year took a toll, played in all 17 games. When you think about it, total yards from scrimmage, he had 803 yards from scrimmage. And that was the second most in his career. He had 128 touches. So that's a lot for a 30-year-old running back who's had, some injury history. And this is part of it, to not go through the training camp or to go through mandatory mini camp, all of that. But he is going to be ready to go for day number 1 of training camp. I wonder if he's not on a touches clock, if you will. How much does Jerick McKinnon touch the football this upcoming year at the beginning? He'll be active every game. And when you've got a veteran guy like Jerick McKinnon who has been through it, he doesn't need the touches. He knows that this isn't a sprint.
Yeah.
This is a long season. So the fact that you can get together with a coaching staff and a medical staff and say, all right, how much can his body handle? That's kind of interesting. And so you can see that they have a plan for Jerick McKinnon going forward. He did have one other team interested, but wanted to be back in Kansas City. So not a whole lot of free agency going out there. No one's going to offer him, $9 million that he definitely wouldn't turn down.
Yeah.
I also thought it was kind of fun to know that, when I hear the name Jerick McKinnon, I think of two things. The first one is exactly what they said. Will you think you be known for what you did in the Super Bowl? Going down at the 1-yard line. You could have scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Do you know how many rushing touchdowns Jerick McKinnon has had as a Kansas City Chief? At least in the regular season? Let me look in the playoffs.
I'm going to say regular season, like 3?
1.
Oh.
In the playoffs, Jerick McKinnon has no touchdowns running the football for the Chiefs. But as a Chief, he has 10 touchdowns receiving. And then in the playoffs, he has 2, I believe. So for him to be known as the guy who went down at the 1-yard line to essentially guarantee the Super Bowl victory, a couple kneels, and Butker goes on, hits the field goal, chippy for the win, and then there's just one play left. There's 8 seconds left in the game. So that is pretty cool. And then the other play, when I think of Jerick McKinnon, I think of the hook shot from Patrick Mahomes to McKinnon where he caught it and ran for a touchdown. Awesome. Those are the two. But yeah, that's pretty interesting there. And also, if you jump out to Jerick McKinnon as a running back, you've got something. You've at least caught his eye.
Yeah.
And that's what Deneric Prince has done.
Yeah.
He said, man, who is that guy?
I love that. I love their response. Just like my first thought was, man, who's that guy? He big as hell.
He's fast too.
He fast and big as hell. That's my favorite line from Jerick so far this offseason.
Athletic, nice on film, but he also added the caveat of we'll see in training camp.
Yeah.
Because that's when pads come on.
And everything is different when pads come on. And that's what we and everyone around football likes to tell everybody is that you take the things happening on the field right now with just such a grain of salt, because doing stuff against air without pads, with no threat of hit or contact, is just, it's so different. that you learn so much more when the pads come on. And that's why it's always great to know that even the players realize that too. It's like, they can be happy with what they're doing now or what they're seeing from other guys on the team, but they know, let's just see what happens when we strap things up a little bit.
We'll get a timeout. We're going to hear from Sky Moore coming up next here on Mic'd Up.
Kansas parents.
Rookie Sky Moore met with the media today as well.
Hey, man, no longer a rookie. That's second-year player Sky Moore to you.
Yes. Correct. Yeah, that's right.
I know you know these things, but
That's
it's just really fun to occasionally get to throw some stuff
the
in
season hasn't started yet, so maybe he's technically still a rookie.
It's in there. I mean, and he also, didn't play a ton last year. It's just,
Yeah.
not like you're, oh goodness, the dude was, second in rookie of the year voting.
Yeah.
He couldn't be.
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of reasons to go, it's still kind of.
Yeah.
But officially, second-year player Sky Moore.
Sky Moore met with the media. Here's what he had to say.
Year 1 to year 2, what are you looking forward to making the biggest jump and personally and just with the team?
Really just making that next step, just being myself. I'd say last year was a lot of like knowing getting here, knowing the culture, knowing the playbook, and getting a hang of how people do things around here. So now I get to show my natural ability and just show why they drafted me.
So you're excited to go to training camp then?
Yeah, for sure.
Now that you have all of this kind of covered?
Yeah, I feel like I'm having a pretty good offseason. So if I can roll that over in the training camp, I should be on the right path.
How are you getting ready for probably a larger role in the offense? Just how you feel you can be able to present yourself in the best light?
You know, just doing the same thing I've been doing, just taking it day by day. Just whatever role they want me to do it to the best of my ability and helping the team.
Have you put on more muscle?
A little bit, trying to, but I'm really actually trying to slim down a little bit. I feel like in the off season I start lifting a lot and get that running back build, but I want to stay, at the receiver. So,
What's the learning curve been like for you and everything thrown at you with the offense early last year? And you've been through a whole year and another OTA offseason. You feel like you're better prepared on that side of it?
For sure. Definitely, it was definitely a challenge to say the least. But coming in year 2, I feel like I definitely got the hang of everything. Like I said, like just knowing the playbook, knowing like what Pat likes, what Coach Reed likes, what Coach Nags likes, and just being able to be a Chiefs receiver versus being, the rookie.
Are you working on the finer things like route running or pass game? Like, what exactly did you want to really hone in on that you can improve on?
Yeah, just like all the little. It's hard to explain, but like all the little things like that really Pat wants. Like coming out of breaks or when to look or when to be there or what speed to run it at. Like the little like details of being a receiver. So I felt like I knew what I needed to improve on. Like I found that out late, like early in the season last year, and I've been waiting on off season for a long time because I knew what to correct. And
You mentioned that, and there was an example yesterday where Pat had like a submarine sidearm pass to you that was like about knee high and everything, make the catch in stride. Was that a play you could have made last year?
I forget which one you're talking about, but yeah, but I want to say I feel like I can always make the play, but I feel like this year just we're on the same page. So like I probably knew where to be when he threw it, and he throws no looks all the time. So me keeping my same speed and keeping the play alive, like that's probably something I built on top of my game for this year versus last year.
For what Pat wants subject, like how much do those Texas workouts help in that regard?
Yeah, a lot, because you get those. It's not one-on-one, but you get that time to talk. Where I can run a route and be like, okay, what did you like or what did you not like about that route? Versus like when we're running routes on air, he don't got time to talk to me about that. He got so much on his mind that he's really not worried about me in that specific setting. So I feel like Texas definitely helped me a lot.
What do you think that he needs from you this year, Patrick?
It's really nothing specific. It's just knowing like he can rely on me. You know what I'm saying? Knowing I just want to show him that if you look this way, you won't be mad. You know what I'm saying? Like you won't regret it, I'd say. So just knowing that I can I'm gonna be a reliable weapon for him coming up this year.
Does it all look different as a champion? Do you notice? I mean, you're working with champions out there.
Absolutely.
Do you kind of notice there's that feel, that aura as you guys are all together?
Yeah, I noticed that as soon as I got here, though. I knew I was working with champions as a rookie, but now it's like I am a champion. So like I feel like I molded myself into the culture that was set here. So I feel like I've done a good job in adapting to the culture we got going on.
Guy, along those lines, being part of winning the championship and the postseason surge, you kind of had Super Bowl, all those things. How much did that send into the offseason with a little stronger feeling about how you fit?
Yeah, last season I would say was definitely a roller coaster for me, just as far as my confidence level, and that definitely sent me off on a good high note. So I feel like on top of knowing what to correct and like going off with the Super Bowl and everything we did last year it was like the best way to go out into the season.
Super Bowl touchdown or football?
You said, do I have it?
Yeah.
Yep, it's in the living room. Yeah.
A couple more.
What are your personal aspirations for this year?
Just to build on I feel like last year was knowing the playbook and everything. Now I'm gonna give it my best shot, and then next year I'll worry about personal goals and everything. I just want to give it my best shot this year and do anything the team needs me to do.
Last three, Harold.
Sky, what do you think about Patrick Mahomes being on the Netflix special, and where you want it per chance?
I really didn't even know until they posted something today. So I didn't know he was on the Netflix special. So maybe I'm gonna watch it. See if I'm on there.
What do you think about just the attention that he's gotten?
That's you know, that's a big time player. So I want to see all the details of his life too. So I'm gonna definitely be tapped in just like y'all will.
Sky, you know, everybody's kind of counting on you and saying that you're going to be this big thing this year. Do you embrace that kind of hype, or do you try to shy away from it and just work?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Like I'm not shying away from it, but I'm definitely gonna just work. I'm not gonna get too high or get too low. Just come to work every day, the same person, and just be ready to, you know, get grimy and get to work.
You never want to lose a teammate. Obviously, Juju moved on. What did he mean as far as your growth, and how do you feel like you're going to be a part of replacing some of his production?
Yeah. Me personally, I feel like I came into the best situation with Juju being here, with McCole being here, MVS. You know, I feel like I had the best vets. You know, I got the Juju personally. I'm from Pittsburgh, so him being on the Steelers like my whole high school career. I'm seeing him come into the league, and then he's my teammate. I was always picking his brain and, you know, seeing just how to be a pro. So I feel like coming in with him in the locker room was definitely a big plus for me, just as a receiver, and just as a young man coming in, getting money and fame, and you know how he did because he came in young. You know, he got a lot of attention, you know, riding his bike and everything. So it was definitely good for me.
Sky Moore, second-year player for the Kansas City Chiefs. Some stuff that jumped out there. It took him a year. It took him a year to get it to figure it out, because the thing that jumped out was, you know, I am now a Chiefs wide receiver more so than a rookie. So that is something I do think is a big deal. Also, when asked what would you say to Patrick Mahomes, said, quote, "He can rely on me. He can look my way and you won't regret it." So that is a little bit more confidence in what he is doing. And the last thing that I took from what Sky Moore had to say, he didn't give us anything really cool, like hoopla being a funny word. When the Chiefs decided to make it an actual thing where Patrick Mahomes can basically run phase 1 down in Texas, where everybody goes to Patrick. And he said, it was beneficial for me because you get more in depth. You know, we had Mike Miller on, who talks about how his head coach, Rod Woodson, in the XFL ran practices like an NFL practice. They are very fast paced and they are to the point, to the T, very structured. The Chiefs are the same way. They don't waste time. Andy Reid's practices are very fast paced, and they're trying to get as much in there as they can. There's not as much teaching the nuance. And Sky Moore said that you can go a little bit more in depth. You can talk it out.
Yeah.
You can explain things. You can say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Hey, this is what you're seeing. And it's going at a much, you know, medium pace, if you will. And I think that benefits a guy like Sky Moore. I think that's a huge, huge deal for Sky Moore. So that's also a big deal for this Chiefs team for those OTAs. You get that everything has a meaning. Remember, last practice in OTAs, they're working on actual plays that they're going to run against the AFC West and the Lions. You want to talk about, you know, full scope and seeing the big picture? That's part of it. Hey, you know what? This is where you go down there. Not only do you get the camaraderie, you get to hang out with the boys, right? But you need to use that. You need to use that time to pick the brain of Patrick Mahomes, to understand what he's thinking about. That, I think, is big for a guy like Rashee Rice and a guy like Sky Moore. So, Sky Moore finding his footing. Big deal. This is a big jump for Sky Moore.
It really is, because there's so many more targets that are going to be available for him this year, and I just feel a big thing for him, and he spoke about it a little bit, and that was the benefit of being able to, be able to go more in depth down with Patrick in Texas, is knowing what Patrick wants. Because I remember so much, and this at least is the one that always sticks out to me. Against San Francisco, the interception Patrick threw on the first drive that ended up leading them going down 10-0. When he was throwing a pass intended for Sky Moore and it got intercepted because Sky didn't bend the route the way he should have. He kind of ran it pretty structured and rigid, but looking at what it was being seen and looking at what Patrick was seeing, he anticipated Sky to bend that route a little bit differently. And that to me was that mark of, this isn't a talent thing of why Sky maybe isn't doing what we were hoping he could do, but it's just, there's so much in the Chiefs offense that is not run to a spot of like, we're going to decide pre-play, you need to get to this spot no matter what's happening on the field, where so much of the Chiefs offense is, yeah, you have a route you're supposed to run, but if you see something as you go, change it. Make a difference, bend it differently, find a soft spot, not to the level that Travis Kelce is, of just literally the man has a weird hive mind with Patrick Mahomes. But the Chiefs offense is not about running a route to a perfect tee. It's about, you have a route, but based on what you're seeing, be ready to adjust it.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, Fulton. So what you're telling me is that if you've got a route and it's not going the right way, and you need to adjust it, and you need to find another way, how can we implement that in another part of your life? You have a route, which is watching the Royals.
This is top tier, Jake.
You have a route, which is you watching the Royals, and then it's just the DB did something, and you got to break it off. You got to bend it, all right?
Yeah.
And it's not bending, so you got to figure out a way, right? Figuring out a way at the end result is your happiness. Maybe we need to bend that away from the Royals for a little bit to get to the open area so that you can find internal success.
Well done.
Circling all around.
Well done.
We'll talk some
great
Royals,
job connecting the threads.
and we're gonna just show you just how insane the Royals are when it comes to the moment. The big key moment. Folks,
they're really bad.
Not good. We'll get to that next. Well, tonight, Daniel Lynch going up against Ben Lively. Royals have lost 8 in a row, going for 9. I think they got it in them.
Oh, they definitely got it in them. That's without a shadow of a doubt.
They really tested the theory of if Fulton really believes strongly in wins and losses with a specific team, that even your negative karma couldn't even overcome a Jordan Lyles start.
No.
Right now, the Royals, they're an underdog.
Stink.
Well, they do stink. But they are an underdog.
So Vegas stopped giving free money for those to bet on the Reds.
Right now, it is minus 110 for the Reds, minus 106 for the Royals. So it's almost a coin flip.
I don't blame Vegas for keeping it close. These have been 2 games decided by 1 run, where if the Royals had any competency in their bats, they would have won.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of competency in their bats, this is truly incredible. Shout out to our good friend, one Jesse Newell.
Jesse's the man.
We enjoy Jesse.
Love Jess.
Alrighty. Jesse talks about the clutch situation. Okay. High leverage situations, according to Fangraphs, are big moments in the game in which the outcome is then decided. The Royals have 253 plate appearances this year. Okay. Whenever there's a high leverage situation, on average, the Royals send up Jackie Bradley Jr. Now, every now and then, Jackie Bradley Jr. comes through.
Yeah, blind squirrel finds a nut.
Salvador Perez hitting a game-tying home run. I thought that was like, okay.
I'll be honest. I really thought I was like, this is the thing that's gonna break the streak.
Yep.
Like, there's the vibes, there's the energy. Sal did it.
Well, not only that is okay. You're the home team in extra innings, which is a huge benefit.
Yeah, unless the road team gets 2 runs, it's usually so easy to at least tie it, if not get the lead.
Yep. But,
well, we saw.
But the Royals are batting 141 in high leverage situations. That's anybody. That is the entire team. If you combine their batting average,
they're 141 in high leverage.
They are Jackie Bradley Jr.
Horrible.
Who, fun fact,
doesn't play for the team anymore because he was so bad.
Yeah. So now you can still end up with some positivity, right? Let's say you got a lineup that's got, 2 guys who are hitting 300, but everybody else hits 100. Your average is going to be 100. But eventually those 2 guys who come back up in the key spot end up
think so.
Producing.
Yeah.
Kind of what happened with Salvador Perez. So that's on the offensive side. Think about it. Today, in the later part of the innings, or when there's a runner at first or second and third, or just at third, 1 out, no outs, how well do the Royals do? The answer is Jackie Bradley Jr. Now let's turn it around. What about the opposing team? When the opposing team has, late in the game, down by 1 or up by 1, or runner at third, 1 out, runner at second and third, 2 outs. The opposing batter, whenever any Royal is pitching, whether that be Greinke or Singer or Lynch or Lyles or Hernandez or Myers or Staumont, no matter who it is, on average, in a big time moment in a game, the Royals are pitching to Ronald Acuna Jr., who right now might be the MVP of the National League.
Good chance.
Okay. So we're talking that every time that there is a high leverage situation, Ronald Acuna steps to the plate. Ronald Acuna is hitting .332, an on base of .399, and a slug of .560. I don't know if you know this, Fulton, but those are Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah, they are.
So when the Royals are in a crunch time situation, when they are on the mound, they are pitching what is essentially to a Hall of Famer every single at bat.
I'll go one. I'll bring another comparison into this.
Okay.
Another stat that we can use is a stat called WOBA. It's WOBA. It's weighted on base average. Essentially, to really simplify it the best I can, it's batting average and on base percentage kind of combined together, but weighted to where it's a higher number when you're getting extra base hits.
Okay.
Like, it's one thing to get on base with a bunch of singles and some walks. It's another when you're, cranking out doubles and triples and homers, which is just better.
And this situation is in crunch time. High leverage situation.
In high leverage, Royals pitchers by WOBA turn every hitter into Sean Murphy from Atlanta. Remember when Sean Murphy was just killing the Royals for a series? Way back in April.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Murphy was destroying Royals pitching. They're facing him every single time.
Or you could have gone with 1980 George Brett.
Honestly, could have. Yandy Diaz from the Tampa Bay Rays to get real funky with it.
They're hitting their WOBA's 398.
Yeah, Yandy Diaz's WOBA this year is 399. Sean Murphy's is 396. If we want to go just a little bit higher, Shohei Ohtani's is 407. That's what they're doing, and as I've said,
that's hard to win a game.
It's really hard, and the pitching side is the thing I'm more down on and won't get better by that much, because that's a talent thing. Pitching's just a talent thing. The pitching side is not, in my opinion, for the most part, execution. It's not, for the most part, pitch selection or luck. Like, there's some good players in that bullpen, but not a lot. We've been over how bad the starting rotation is.
Mm-hmm.
The pitching problem is just you're not putting good arms on the mound. The hitting problem is you got a bunch of dudes who just have not played a lot of baseball. And I like I've said, I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm not trying to, find ways to say it and for every one of you to go, they're just young and haven't played much. That's okay. No, it's not okay. The lack of production is not okay. But you're also sending a bunch of dudes who have played maybe a year and a half of baseball to the plate. Like, on any given day, your most experienced player is obviously Salvador Perez. On any given day, your second most experienced player is Nicky Lopez. Or occasionally Matt Duffy. There you go. That's your second most veteran player. One dude, a 30-plus-year-old journeyman who everyone clamors to play more, which I'm on the fence on, but has only been a full-time starter twice in his career, and there's kind of reasons for that. The other dude is your 20s, 7-year-old utility man.
Okay.
Every consistent contributor you want on this team all super young, which just leads to this happening of guys that just, we make the comment about Ned Yost all the time of like when Eske was batting leadoff all the time or Eske in those clutch situations. You're like, well, why does he keep doing it? It won't matter. And he's like, because eventually he's going to be in this and the experience is going to pay off. Eventually, I believe, and I could easily be wrong, some of these young guys will start hitting better in these situations. But right now, they're learning. They're learning on the job, which leads to this type of losing. A team-wide learning on the job in sports leads to this.
The worst
in
team
any
in baseball.
sport.
Worst team in baseball.
Yeah. When literally 90% of your roster is like, guys, we are building this plane as it is flying. That is what the Royals are doing. Not to excuse it, but that's literally what's happening.
Coming up next, we will finish things off with the mic drop. You got for your mic drop.
I think I might actually try to find something to do tonight that's not watch the Royals. We'll see. I might. What I might do is
You're
I might
all talk. You're gonna watch the
I probably
Royals.
what I should do and what I think is the happy medium is I'm gonna put them on. I'm gonna watch them.
No.
Until they go down by like 4-0, and then turn them off. I turn them off when they make me sad.
No.
Because they could go up like 10-0, and then I'm happy.
That's like saying to an alcoholic, "Yeah, only one drink will be okay. I'll stop after one."
Hey man, fair.
After one drink.
You're not wrong.
Here's what we're gonna do. If the Royals don't win today, we're gonna take the off day tomorrow, just like apparently the Royals have taken 9 straight days off. If the Royals lose tonight,
no Royals coverage tomorrow.
No Royals talk tomorrow. I'm not dealing with them. They haven't earned it.
Nope.
They haven't earned it. You lose 3 straight series? Nah, fam. Coming up next, we got 580 Sports Talk, and then Royals baseball against the Reds. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon.